Okay, fantastic. And I guess that sort of feeds into the topic that I wanted to cover with you guys this morning, which is really around the whole concept about building communities, right? And the thing is about a community is we often start with let's build a community. It kind of becomes like the starting point, but there's actually a number of steps that you need to take to actually get to the point where you actually have a community that's engaged, interested, and really are keen to hear what you have to say, right? And just checking in with you, Tanya, can everyone hear me okay? Yep. Loud and clear. Okay, perfect. So that I really wanted to talk about like 5 steps to building a community that you love, okay? So I help people build online presences that they truly love so that they can have people involved in their business and earning the money they deserve, okay? So it's not, if you're missing one element of these things, you kind of don't have anything. So sometimes you have a community, like you have heaps and heaps of people, but there's no offer, there's no business behind it. And sometimes you have a business and you don't have the community. And other times you have a message, but you have no vehicle to get that message out. So the thing that I wanted to share is that there's 5 ways to build an online community. And the first thing is being conscious about what your message is, who you are, where you are at, and how you're going to be in your communications. So even me sitting here in front of the camera for you guys, right? I'm actually just being myself. So often when we think about how we're going to be for our business, we think about being someone else. But once you actually have your business and who you are at work integrated with your online presence and the message you want to share, everything kind of falls into place. Okay, so that's the first thing, being clear about what your message is and how you want, what you actually have to share with the world. And the second thing I wanted to share is actually your calling. So often if you're working in an educated environment, there's a calling to be a teacher, to actually share everything you know with other people. So it's actually a calling, and the only people you're sharing it with is the people that come into your classrooms, right? So the whole concept of e-learning is actually getting your voice out there to more people instead of just the people that happen to come into your classroom. Okay, so that's number 2, your calling, matching your calling with being able to communicate that out to the world. Okay, the third thing is what you're going to create. Okay, so even if we think about e-learning, right, what are we going to put in it? Okay, so this is all our knowledge, our tools, our skills, our expertise, the stuff we know lots of things about, and it's got to be a masterpiece. It's got to be something like truly amazing. I mean, there's probably people in the room now, who have 10 years of experience in teaching, and then there's students that are just learning and just getting started with all this stuff. So the third thing is, what are you going to create? And how is that going to be communicated out to the world? Okay. The fourth thing is community. All right. So you'll notice that that's actually the topic of the whole conversation. We haven't even used the word community yet. But all of those things, consciousness and your calling and what you're going to create, all feed into your community. And once you have all those things working, that foundation, often the community falls into place. I mean, I've seen people on Facebook. In fact, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but there's 1 billion people on Facebook per day. There's 1 in 7 people in the world are on Facebook, connecting, communicating, and in a community. Can you just get a show of hands, Tanya? Who's on Facebook in the room?
Oh, I'll do a little pan for you. There you go.
All right. Just say, are you on Facebook? Just yell it out. All right. And who's not on Facebook?
And 2 in the room that aren't on Facebook.
Okay, got it. So we're all on Facebook, right? And on Facebook, everything we've just talked about so far, being what your message is and what your calling is and what you're going to create, all of that feeds in now to places like Facebook. Okay, so some of you in the room might have a question like, oh, should I have a business page? Should I have a personal page? Here's the thing, right? Facebook is going to make you pay to play. All right, so if you have a business page, you're going to be shown to around 10% of people's walls. Okay, so often it comes down to, how we talked about the integration. Being on Facebook, who you are on Facebook is who you are at work, who you are in your business, who you are at home. There's no separate avatar. It becomes a place where you can share your message with the world. And I guess here I wanted to share with everyone, for example, on my Facebook wall, I have 3,900 friends. And I really don't have 3,900 friends. I probably have a couple of friends, but I've got 3,900 people on my wall that are watching and looking at my posts on a day-to-day basis. So it becomes this incredible platform where if you have a message and something compelling to share with the world, a place like Facebook is where you can go and do that. And you can also build a community. You can build private groups. So for example, some of the teachers in the room might be interested in a certain topic. I'm just going to use, say, even just something like English as an example. They might be super passionate about English and speaking properly. You can set up a Facebook page where people who love English as well can come into that group and you can share stuff about English. Okay, so I'm in a lot of groups myself, and each group has a topic, and it's a place where you can go and share different things about that group topic. So community is like the most amazing thing that you can build up. And the other big beast out there is LinkedIn. Okay, can I get a show of hands of who's on LinkedIn?
Two plus me. Oh, no, 4.
All right, cool. And so the balance of the room isn't on LinkedIn?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, got it. All right. LinkedIn is the most powerful place you can be right now when it comes to being connected. Okay, so I have another 3,900 connections, separate connections on LinkedIn. I get about 10 people a day coming and finding me on LinkedIn and connecting with me. Okay, so LinkedIn is a place where you can put your essentially a little mini resume and a profile up about what you are, what your voice is, what your calling is, and then people can find you if they're interested in the same thing. Okay, so for example, if you're interested in digital advertising, you can go into LinkedIn, type in digital advertising, and all these people will come back and you can start communicating with those people. Okay, so LinkedIn is another example of communities that are built where you can be seen and you can share your message, and you can also grow because you're in other communities that are talking about things that you love. Okay, and the other thing about LinkedIn is, anyone in the room a blogger? Is anyone actively running a blog?
Not actively.
All right, does anyone want to do that?
There's a few of us that have blogs and have dabbled.
Dabbled, okay, all right. And you know what, Tanya, like part of the thing is we want to move from dabbling to actually creating something magnificent. And if you're interested in blogging and writing and sharing your message with the world, LinkedIn is the place to do it. There's a blogging platform called Pulse. And I think there's I don't even know how many people are on LinkedIn a month, but it could be like 40 million people. Instantly, your article is on this Pulse. It's like a big blogging platform, and it gets viewed by thousands within the day. So LinkedIn is just another really powerful platform to be seen, to be heard, to build a community, and to have two-way connections with people. And what happens when you have connections with people? All of a sudden, you have a two-way dialogue, which is the first thing. Like when you're running a business, often it's like one way. It's like a one-way voice out there, and all you want is people to come into your universe, right? So once you start establishing a two-way dialogue, you have an opportunity for business to happen. Right? There's a guy called Dale Partridge. He's in the US, and he runs a blog called The Daily Positive. It's taken him 2 years to build his blog up to 1 million visitors a month, and he puts on positive articles, and he earns 60 grand a month from that blog. Okay, so he's building up a community around his blog, around his passion, around his message, and a community of people that love daily positive messages. Okay, and I don't know what that's going to be for you guys in the room. I mean, you might have some passion within you that's not yet realized, and you just don't know how to get your voice out there, right? So here's the last thing out of the 5. So we've covered consciousness, like what your message is, who you are, where you're at, who you're being, what your calling is. So what are you driven to share with the world? What you're going to create? What is this going to look like? The community. How is this message going to be delivered to people so that a two-way dialogue is covered? And then the 5th thing is communication. And so once you have all of those 5 things working, you actually have a lot. First of all, you've got a vehicle for your passion to come out. And the second thing is you've got a business. You've got a way that people can transact with you and basically you can deliver to them what you're passionate about and what they're interested in seeing. So they're the 5 things, and that's all I wanted to cover today, Tanya. So I just want you to ask someone in the room, what did they get out of this conversation?
Anyone got a takeaway they want to share?
Did anyone get anything out of that?
Janet, could you hear? Janet just said to actually have a go. So don't be afraid to show yourself and your voice.
And you know what, Janet, that's actually the key. And the key is to believe in yourself that what you have, like there's people in the room who've probably spent, 10, 20 years building a knowledge and skill and expertise around something that's important to them. And I'm sure that deep within you, people in that room want a way to share that. That's why you're in the room, right? You want to learn how to share it. And the way you do that is, first of all, believing in yourself. And then second of all, you find a way to communicate your message with the world so that it's authentic, that it's real and valuable to people. And once you do that, all the technical stuff falls into place. A website, a blog, a membership site, Facebook, LinkedIn, email marketing, all of that stuff just is really just a way you can get your message out to the world. All right, so yes, you can. Go, Tan.
I was going to ask, which email, you said an email system, what one do you use? Do you use Chimp or?
I use Aweber because Aweber has more advanced segmentation. Okay, so, but they're all much of a muchness 10. They're, like the email marketing is like, often I find people go, oh, well, what tool should I use? And they don't know what their message is. Yeah. Or I want a blog, and then they go, okay, what am I going to write? Yeah. Or even on a video, like I do videos pretty much every day on tips and trips on how to build an online presence. And I when I first started out, I thought, well, what am I going to share? And then I just decided to share everything I've spent 20 years learning how to do. And I just started sharing that authentically, and people follow me in droves.
So do you share your videos on your blog, or do you share your videos on YouTube and link to them?
Okay. Basically, if you've got videos are the hottest thing on Facebook right now, okay? And when I say hot, I mean last week my videos were viewed by 10,000 people. And I'm just like I don't know if the room know, I grew up in Wajura. I grew up in a block in Orimple, right? So I'm just like a Joe Blow going about my life and building my business and trying to get my dream off the ground, right? But my videos have personally been viewed by 10,000 people last week. And the key is actually how I'm being right now is how I am in those other videos. So some of you in the room might be thinking, oh, I'd like to do video marketing. I'd like to get on a video and share what I've spent 20 years learning how to do. And here's how you do it. Can you see that? Can everyone see that? All right, you might be holding a Samsung phone right now, or you might be holding an iPhone, and it literally is holding it up like this and turning it on and sharing what you know something about. Right? And when you first start, right, it's going to feel really unnatural. You're going to feel fake. You're going to feel like a fraud. But eventually something in you clicks and you find a voice of expression and expressing what you know something about. Okay, so once we've filmed this video, right, all I do is I sync that up to my laptop, or I'd load it straight up into Facebook. All right, so if you're in the room thinking that you want to do this, don't think about YouTube, don't think about Vimeo, because Facebook is not showing videos that are hosted in other parties. No, they want videos that are hosted in their native platform. All right, so here we go. We load this video up straight into Facebook, and instantaneously some proportion of 1 billion people see your message. All right, and not everyone's going to love you, right? Because some people, you know, whatever your message is, some people are passionate about chess, Tanya, you know. Some people are passionate about even education in rural areas. You know, whatever that passion is, right, you can start sharing that via video, putting that straight onto Facebook, and instantaneously people will start coming to you and saying, oh, I'd like to know more about that. All right, the other thing you can do when you start doing videos is you can actually put all that together into a membership site. You know, when you log on to a membership site, so you know how we talked about e-learning at the start of the session, basically you can easily, like within a day, put together a membership site and film an itinerary of something you know something about, and maybe later that day, in 8 hours time, you can actually be selling that online. Yep. Most people don't do that though, because of why? Why do you think that people don't do it? Ask the room. Lack of knowledge.
Lack of technical knowledge of how to upload, share, join.
That's it.
Mine's fear of humiliation, fear of embarrassment. I don't like sending an all-staff institute email in case I spell something wrong and the grammar group gets me.
Yeah. You know?
It's a room of teachers. You don't want to mistype something.
You know, that's a thing. It's got to, you know, this is about being vulnerable, right? And who would have thought that a conversation that started off with how to build a community online is now moving to a place like being vulnerable, being willing to be on the line for something, being willing to be challenged. And all I can say to anyone in the room who's just thinking that maybe there's something in here for them, or even that they'd like to do it and there's something that's been holding them back, in an instant that fear can be diminished and reduced. And do you know why? Because your calling becomes greater than the fear.
Yep. So you got to let your right.
That's right. You make a decision to go, what I have to say has value. You know, even you, Tanya, you know a lot. You've got a lot to offer, incredible amount to offer. Offer Mildura, offer the TAFE, offer even the eSummit you put together. It's inspiring. So the fear goes away. Like even me, there's a part of me that was fearful about talking to the guys. I don't know who's in the room. I don't know what anyone wants. But that fear is lower than my need to communicate this to people. So here I am. And, you know, all I'd encourage you to do is to, the technical stuff is the least of it. It's like the easiest part of it. In fact, you know, partnering someone who can show you the way is actually the hardest thing, really, because many people know lots of different things about it, like little parts of it, but they don't know the whole big picture. And so the technical stuff is really the least of it. I think the biggest stuff is overcoming the fear of not doing it, having a voice and expressing that naturally. So meaning I'm not someone else when I'm doing this. It's Sharnee at business and Sharnee at home as well. And then seeking the knowledge and tools that you need to get this off the ground. And what I'm really talking about there is learning how to be on Facebook authentically with your message, building a membership site so you can sell and have a passive income stream, have a website and a blog so you can share all your knowledge with other people, having an email marketing system so you can build a list, having a profile and identity and authority on LinkedIn so people can find you and work with you. And that's it. So
Fantastic.
are there any questions? Or Tanya?